What's going on, everybody? What's going on, everybody? This is Primetime Jay Thomas coming at you with another video. Please. And Scream 7 is finally here. It has been out for a couple days now. Me and my girlfriend saw it at the 6 p.m. Showing on Thursday night, and I saw it again on a Tuesday matinee. Because I always like to watch certain movies twice, to make sure my feelings are still the same whatsoever. And how do I feel about it? Well, I walked away saying to myself that it's a Scream movie. It's a Scream movie. Like, I thought it was fine. I thought it was fine. I didn't love it. I did not love it. I didn't hate it. And anyone who says that Scream 7 is a catastrophic dumpster fire of epic proportions and it's one of the worst movies, if not the worst movie they've ever seen in the history of motion pictures, is not to be taken seriously. You either never seen a bad movie in your life, or never seen too many movies in your life, or you're just being hyperbolic for the sake of being hyperbolic. I mean, it's just, I cannot take you seriously. Like, even Halloween 5, Halloween Resurrection, and Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 are not three of the worst movies in the history of motion pictures. They may be some of the worst movies in the Halloween franchise, but they're certainly not some of the worst movies in the history of cinema. It's just, that's just ridiculous. But anyway, so I thought it was okay. It's a Scream movie, but I did have issues with it. But before I dive into what I didn't like and why I think these issues are here, let's talk about what I did like. Probably a lot of what you guys like. I really like the opening of the movie, the Stu Macher Airbnb. I thought that was really well done. A lot of the cinematography, a lot of the mood and the atmosphere during the opening sequence was really good. I love the Michael Myers aspect of Ghostface, where his white mask is slowly emerging from the darkness. I thought that was really cool, and he did that again in a later scene as well. I thought that was really cool. The whole opening felt kind of cool to me. It felt fresh. I know people are complaining that, but didn't really connect with anything later in the movie. And you're right. You could point to something, but overall, I thought it was very well made, very well shot, genuine moments of suspense and tension and eerie. Like the darkness, and the dark deep shadows. It was nice. And I thought the opening was fine. I thought that the dynamic between Sidney Prescott and her daughter Tatum was really good. I thought the character, the more character-driven aspect of that relationship was very not only important, but it was very good. I thought they were very good together. So it was genuine mother and daughter chemistry there, what I thought was really good. I thought the young actress playing Tatum, I can't forget her name, my apologies, but I thought she was very good. She almost kind of reminded me of a young Jennifer Lawrence. I thought it was Jennifer Lawrence at first, but she could play Jennifer Lawrence's sister. The camera really likes her. She's going to be a star. There's no doubt about that. And I thought she was very good. I thought Sidney Prescott, Neve Campbell herself, ladies and gentlemen, I thought was very good. She's very comfortable in this role. It's her 6th go-around as a character, even though it's the 7th installment. I thought she was very good in this role. Neve Campbell, we all love Neve Campbell from Part 5, The Craft, and we love her from Wild Things. We all love Neve Campbell, and I thought Neve Campbell was great in this role. I thought she was really good. Very comfortable in this role. It's great to see her back as a middle-aged Sidney Prescott. Seeing her, we saw her middle-aged in Scream 5, but you know what I mean. A film that more focuses on her. It was really good. She's great in the role. That's part of the nostalgia and the warm fuzz that you get when you watch it. That was really cool. She was great. No issues between her and her daughter at all. So I thought that was good. The kills. People are saying if all you care about is the kills, don't give a damn about the story and the reveals. You just want to see some kills, blood, guts, and gore, and carnage candy. Shout out to Cody Leach. Well, you're gonna like the movie because you do get some of the best kills in the franchise in terms of gratuitous gore, I will say, in this movie. And my favorite one, I think, is the when the head on the beer tap, like on the beer tap, and the aftermath of it with the and blood and beer coming out the kid's mouth. Really well done. It was really cool. And I love they let that breathe. They didn't cut away from it too soon. They just let that moment breathe, which I thought was great. Even the death of the opening with the boyfriend with the knife in the head, you see his eyes going white, rolling back with his head. I thought it was really cool. I thought it was really cool. There's some genuine good kills if that's your thing. If that's what you come to see these movies for. If that's your thing, then you should be pleased with some of the kills and the violence in this movie. How they handled Stu, Matthew Lillard. I thought he was great in this movie. He didn't skip a beat. He hasn't missed a beat. He looks great. He sounds great. It literally seems like it literally just came out of 1996 into 2026, and he didn't skip a beat. He felt like he belongs. It was really cool and really, really well done. And you guys know me. I've been a huge proponent of keeping Stu Macher dead. I think it's strong for the character. I think it's stronger thematically for the overall arching story of the movie. Even I was disappointed that didn't turn out to be Stu. I know there's still a chance it could be with Scream 8 and all that shit. But in terms of this movie, it didn't turn out to be Stu. He was AI. I was disappointed. And it's largely because I agree with all of you that are saying that the reveals of the Ghostface killers and the reveals of the motivations for doing what they're doing and the reason why they're doing it is largely the weakest in the franchise. And that contrast, that 180 is very apparent because they really set you up down the path of this could be Stu. They really plant that seed of doubt that is Stu back? It really makes you think. And then for it to not be him, you felt like you got punched in the dick. Like, let's just be honest. It felt like you got punched in the dick when you realized that it wasn't him, And it was so well done that once you, and it's such a disappointment. And it's only such a disappointment because, not because of it's not Stu, but because of who ends up being the Ghostface killer and largely the motivations of why they're doing it and what they're doing it for. If the reveals were stronger and the motivations were stronger, you would still feel a little bit of that disappointment if you're Team Stu and I want him back. But it wouldn't be such a contrast, you know what I mean? Like, oh, it's not Stu, but fuck, oh, look who it is. Oh, shit. Oh, damn, right? And you feel so overwhelmed by what's going on, and then rather for 5 minutes going, why I wish it was Stu, So I do understand that. And that's a great segue into the overall issues that I have with where we are with the Scream franchise in Scream 7 right now. I could go into the nitty-gritty and the detailed specifics of the writing that I could do that, but I want to talk more about the overall issue that I have with the Scream franchise right now. And to go back into the reveals, everybody knows that I did not like the last 20 minutes of Scream 6. I did not like it. And that really bothered me because I really enjoyed Scream 6 for the most part. It was just that reveal I thought was very disappointing. But now looking back on it, I kind of give it a little bit of a pass because Melissa Barea and Jenna Ortega are so good and they come out so strong in that last 20 minutes against the killers is that I'm willing to go past it, because I thought Scream 6, with the family and the father and the brother sister thing, I will say that made a little bit more sense than the motivations of the killers of Scream 7. I will say that it made more sense, even though it was still wacky itself. But why I'm concerned, but I am concerned for this franchise. And there are a lot of people that have issues with the writing in this film, and they're not wrong. But I think the issue is not just in writing, like, why didn't you write a better story? I think it at this point, it becomes very difficult because of the narrative exhaustion. What do I mean? The structural foundation of the Scream franchise is very different from the foundation of Halloween or Elm Street or Friday the 13th or most other horror slashers in the franchise, because the Scream franchise is built on the foundation structurally and narratively on the who done it premise. And when you have a franchise that is built on that, every installment in your franchise doesn't have to be this way, you know. But I've been asking for, I've been asking for, a cliffhanger for the longest, but generally speaking, every installment in your franchise has a beginning, middle, and end. Nothing ends on a cliffhanger. Every story is wrapped up. You can watch Scream and never watch any other. You can watch the first Scream. You can watch any Scream and never watch the other films, and then you wouldn't really miss anything. You can watch 1 and 2, do the same thing. 1, 2, 3, it's over. 1, 2, 3, 4, it's done. That's because every art within that, in that film is complete. So in the case of Sidney Prescott, we have completed her story and her arc multiple times. So when you're watching Scream 7, you really feel that expiring date. And again, this is long before any reveals of ghost faces, of motivation, or anything. I could feel that narrative exhaustion as we're watching the movie. It's not that the film was void of stakes, but I didn't feel the urgency that I felt in earlier installments. Structurally, thematically, the stakes weren't quite as high because we're going back to the well and we're continuing something that has already ended multiple times. And to find justification for bringing Sidney back because there's more people that want her dead or want to kidnap her daughter. I mean, what's next? They're going to kidnap her accountant or something, or her the person that does her cable. Like it's getting back to a volume opening that well, and it's just there's nothing left there because of the foundation for which it's built by virtue of the premise of these films. You've already ended her story multiple times, and there's only so many times you can end someone's story before you begin to feel this way. So it's not that the movie is awful. Look, some of the writing, individual scenes and for certain characters are a little funky. Like, I'm Sidney Prescott's fucking daughter. It's just like, but I agree. But overall, I think you could let those specific things slide if that narrative exhaustion wasn't there in the overall arcing sort of presence of the film. And I think that sort of is the main issue with the Scream franchise now when you go back to the character of Sidney Prescott, because her story has ended already 5 times before. And so I also think that one of the reasons why, ironically, it was a smart choice to shift the Scream franchise with a new narrative and with new energy, because the one thing I did respect about Scream 5, and Scream 6, but Scream 5 was the beginning, was Scream 5 was supposed to be Sidney's passing of the torch moment. Scream 5 was supposed to be the introduction of a whole new characters, whole new generation. And if I take it to professional wrestling, Scream 5 was supposed to be the beginning of, if I was a booker, if I was Vince McMahon or Triple H whatsoever, Scream 5 was supposed to be the beginning of, okay, these are the new stars. These are now the faces of the franchise. Yes, the old stars are still here because Gale was still there, and Sidney was there, but they're there to pretty much put the new people over, right? And that's what Scream 5 was supposed to be. Scream 5 was supposed to be Sidney pretty much putting over Sam. And Sam is not going to be the flag bearer of the franchise. That's why I respected the risk that Scream 5 took by taking out Dewey and all that stuff. It goes to show that, putting that little, again, it raised the stakes. Like, oh shit, if Dewey dies, that means any one of the OGs can die, which it didn't. So I liked that, and but like I said, you're not Scream 5 did not completely ignore 1, 2, 3, 4. It kept the identity, kept the DNA, but you're introducing a new young cast, a new generation. And it may not have worked. It may have failed completely and miserably, but it didn't. Scream 5 was a hugely successful. Scream 6, without Sidney Prescott, was hugely successful. Now, obviously, numbers at the box office does not indicate it's a good movie. I'm not saying everybody loved it, but they were more successful, not just at the box office, but critically, the fans and the critics more so. I think a lot of people thought they would be, especially considering you're shifting things now away from the Sidney Prescott story. I know she was in 5, but barely. And now you have this new story with these new younger characters that are still connected to that universe. You have Melissa Barrera, who's playing Sam, who's the daughter of Billy Loomis, not the daughter of Sidney, but the daughter of Billy Loomis, and that storyline, she's having these visions, these psychologically, that's scary. What's going to happen to her? Is she going to go on and grow up to be like her father, or is she going to make the choice not to be, and all these type of things, and a sister dynamic with Tara and all that other kind of stuff, and who are these Ghostface killers? You're injecting new life into the story, a new narrative to the franchise that feels fresh, a well that is full. It doesn't mean it's going to work. But the well is full creatively with interesting ideas that you can connect to a larger universe that's become before it. And let's see how this goes. Can we do this? And because of the structure of the Scream franchise, every movie is its own installment, essentially, right? For all intents and purposes. The Scream franchise may be one of the only franchises where you could successfully do that and get away with it. And I think they did successfully. I'm not saying there's not issues, but certainly I think we could all agree that when they first announced the Scream 5 with Sidney Harley being in it, or even Scream 6 with no Sidney at all, at least from my perspective, both those movies turned out way better than anybody thought it would. Especially when you find out that Nev's not going to be in it. You think it's going to be a failure. It's going to be Halloween Resurrection. Not even close. Hell, I think Scream 6, at the time, had the biggest opening weekend throughout this franchise history, and that was without Neve Campbell. So that's why it surprised a lot of people. And because it was fresh injection into the franchise, it was still connected to the characters before it. People really got on board with this. New fans came on board. There was a whole new feel with Barrera and Ortega. It had some life. The Scream franchise had some new life into it. And for me, personally, I was into the Sam storyline. I kind of wanted to see where they were going to go with it. I wanted to see what's going to happen with Sam and Tara in this next installment. I was actually intrigued. And this is coming from a guy that did not like Melissa Barrera in Scream 5. I thought her acting wasn't good. I thought her acting wasn't good. I said at the time that I wish the movie was more revolved around Jenna Ortega, but she won me over in Scream 6, And I said I thought I loved the idea how her turning into a psycho killer is kind of like her Incredible Hulk moment, when she's backed against the wall, she flips that switch, she fucking turns into a female Billy Loomis. And I actually love that idea. So when we had that whole debacle with the whole Barrera and the whole thing, we know what that is, where I feel that Melissa Barrera was I think her firing was unfair. But because that happened, I feel like the momentum that the Scream franchise had stopped, went back to what we knew. We've gone back to a well that is already dry. Now, that doesn't mean, again, there are some new things, mother-daughter angle. That's cool. That's cool to see Sidney back. But in terms of the motivations, in terms of why am I watching? What's the reason these people are after Sydney? What would be the reason 30 years later? What's the point? Why am I watching? Is it strong enough to justify? That's where the film fell short with me at the end. And for those that say that Ghostface reveals and the motivations have never been important and it's not a big deal, I disagree with you. That's the whole point of these movies, is who are the killers and what are their motivations. Again, by virtue of having 7 installments, some killer reveals and some motivations will be stronger than others, sure. But it should always be strong. Some will be stronger than others, but should always be strong, right? And this reveal in this movie was strange, and it felt tired. It literally felt like the Kevin Williamson and the writers. It felt like we don't know where else to go with this. It felt like they didn't know what else to do. And I had a problem believing it. As an audience member, you have to ask yourself, do I believe this is properly motivated? Sure, if you really want to stretch your belief. And that's where I had my biggest issue. I mean, I had issues all throughout the movie as well. Certainly, I can see why. And I don't think it didn't end up being Stu thing. I think that could be part of it for some people, but had the motivation had been stronger, had the Ghostface reveals had been stronger, and what made you go, oh shit, I didn't see that coming. Oh, this hope is a whole new thing now. This is interesting. Oh, okay. Then I think people would care if Stu remained dead. But this felt it felt very, it's narrative exhaustion. It's narratives like, it got to a point where you're saying to yourself, I kind of wouldn't mind if it turned out to be Stu after all, you know? And for this particular story within the franchise, I think it's maxed out. Now, doesn't mean it can't make a Scream 8. They could turn around, make it amazing. You know, there's always a chance. And because of the is he or isn't he kind of thing with Stu, maybe they do bring him back. But if they do bring him back and he is alive, where do you go from there? And that really is your magnum opus. That is your ace card. That is, because beyond that, where do you go? And if you're going to keep him dead, you're going to do Scream 8 with Sydney again? Like, come on here. It's like, what's the motivation? Why? Why do people still care about Sydney Prescott in 2026 and 2027? And why is she continuing to fight? You know what I mean? It has to be solid. It has to be sound, or you're just going to continue to run this franchise into the ground. And I mean, not financially. I mean, thematically, narratively, obviously, box office wise, it's Scream box office wise. Scream 7 is probably the biggest it's ever been. But from a narrative standpoint, it's going to feel like same old. But in terms of that narrative exhaustion, it's there. It is there, and I felt it in this movie. You can't turn it around, but I can feel it. I don't hate the movie. It's not one of the worst movies ever. No, not at all. But watching it, I was thinking to myself, it was okay. I could feel that we're really stretching this now. And some moments you have to have more weight to, like the moment with Gail and Sydney agreeing to have that talk show after all these years. It's kind of like, we're going to do this now, and then we're going to do it, and they kind of just ended it. Like, it's not a moment. There's not breathing room that you want to feel with the moments of nostalgia that are connected whatsoever. Because there is at the time, you know? And so I didn't hate it, didn't love it, but narratively, with the Sydney Prescott character, I feel like it's maxed out. You cannot go any further. You know, and I felt it. I felt it watching this movie. I felt it. And are you going to really do an 8th movie with her again? Hello, Sydney. It's going to be her chasing her Sydney, and we're going to do this again. You know, and then we find out it's the convenience store clerk, or it's, you know, it's the pizza delivery guy, or the taxi driver now. that want to get on this and kill her. It's like, yeah, there's no more water left in it. There's no. It's her story's done. And it's okay that's done. It's okay that it's done. Sometimes the most powerful thing a story could do is end. Well, folks, that's my thoughts on Scream 7. What do you guys think about Scream 7? Leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. Do you guys love Scream 7? Do you guys hate Scream 7? Do you guys feel, that the story, that Sidney Prescott's storyline has it's pretty much been maxed out? Do you think they should make it right and bring Melissa Brea or take it back for Scream 8? Let me know your guys' thoughts. Hit that like, subscribe button. Don't be afraid to share this video. And I am out.